Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started this morning. Well, I would like to welcome all of you to our 24th annual Distinguished Alumni Awards. My name is William Harrison. I am the principal here at Oley Valley High School. And I first want to welcome all of our guests, family members, and obviously our inductees this morning. This is a very busy week in the life of the high school here. It is homecoming week, so it starts out with stuff like that. It starts out with Spirit Week. We have our annual Powder Puff game on Wednesday. Last night, our girls soccer team, field hockey team, and boys soccer team competed. And tonight it ends with the annual homecoming dance. I do want to congratulate our homecoming king and queen, Ava Walters and Trace Gundy, for that honor this year. Let's give them a round of applause. And this morning's event is a wonderful event in the life of our school. It is a great opportunity for our students to just connect with alumni of the past and see that they once sat in their shoes, they once walked the halls here, ate in the cafeteria, and it is a great perspective to hear their stories of how Oley Valley High School impacted their lives. So students, I ask that you please pay attention. That would mean put your phones away and look up here and pay attention and enjoy the advice and stories that you will hear this morning from Oley Valley graduates of the past. Before we get started, I would like to welcome to the stage one of our senior students, Alita Bogdanova, to open the ceremony with acknowledgments of our veterans.
We would like to extend our sincere gratitude to all current and former members of our nation's military for their service and dedication to keeping us safe and protecting our nation's interests. Please continue to keep our servicemen and women in your thoughts and prayers as they serve our country at home and abroad. At this time, please rise and join me for a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you, Alita. It is now my pleasure to welcome Mr. Kevin Bieber, OVCEF Distinguished Alumni and Service Committee Chairperson, to the podium to speak about the history of the Alumni Award on behalf of the Oley Valley Community Education Foundation.
Good morning and welcome to the 24th Annual Distinguished Alumni and Service Awards celebration. This program is a collaboration between the Oley Valley Community Education Foundation and the Oley Valley School District. The foundation is a nonprofit organization that channels private contributions and fundraising to enhance educational opportunities for students, residents, employees, and alumni of our school district. We encourage community support and participation. Among our many accomplishments last year, the foundation awarded over $135,000 in teacher grants and 12 scholarships to seniors that totaled $36,000. Recognizing the accomplishments and contributions of our graduates who have made their marks in our world was the idea of two former school district superintendents, Mr. Robert Lesko and Dr. Jeffrey Zakin. Awards are presented to Oley Valley graduates for their outstanding accomplishments in their professions, humanitarian efforts, volunteerism, service to their communities, or for a single exceptional achievement. A second award was instituted in 2012 to recognize individuals who have provided unselfish service and dedication to our school district. The foundation coordinates the annual selection process through its Alumni and Service Awards Committee, which is comprised of foundation members as well as alumni and community members. The process begins with the submission of a nomination form and concludes with today's celebration. Joining us this morning are members of our administration, school board members, members of the Oley Valley Community Education Foundation, members of the Alumni Awards Committee, and previous honorees. Past recipients, please stand when I call your name. Audience, please hold your applause till the end. Class of 1987, Kevin Bieber. Class of 1969, Carol Fisher Miller. Class of 1973, Shirley Culp Moyer. Class of 1969, Harold Hope. Class of 1953, Amanda Reichert. Class of 1965, William Lutz. Class of 1969, Linda Schlegel-Reinert. Class of 2000, Timothy Rhodes. Class of 1965, Linda Pretzman-Schlegel. Class of 2024, class of 1991, Eric Clemmer. Class of 1954, Kay Felix Bertlett. Class of 1973, Karen Chrisman Shear. And inducted in 2024, Mr. Robert Heckman. Please give these individuals a round of applause. These individuals are just a few of our 101 past recipients. They will be joined today by 6 new honorees. Now, let's hear about these 6 accomplished and dedicated women and men who we salute today.
Thank you, Mr. Bieber. At this time, we will proceed with our recognition of this year's distinguished alumni. Assisting with the introduction of each recipient will be our senior class officers, as well as some of our FFA officers. Please welcome Senior Class President Jacob Schultz to the podium to introduce our first recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award.
Today, I have the privilege of introducing Lynn Eckert as the recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award. Mr. Eckert graduated from the Oley Valley High School in 1975 and soon after earned his associate's degree in mechanical design from Lincoln Technical Institute. He went on to dedicate nearly 40 years of service to carpenter technology, where his work reflected the same dedication and integrity he has shown throughout his life. Beyond his professional career, Mr. Eckert has given generously of his time, talents, and energy to the Oley Valley community. For more than 2 decades, he has been a consistent presence in local service, embodying what it means to give back. Since 2009, he has managed the Oley Valley Fair Fry Stand while also serving as vice president of the fair committee. In addition, he has devoted countless hours to supporting the Oley Valley Community Library through hands-on work, and he has long been a leader of the Oley Valley Bowling League. What stands out most about Mr. Eckert is not just the many roles he has held, but the spirit in which he has served. Whether through his professional accomplishments, his volunteer work, or his devotion to his family, he has spent his life strengthening the very fabric of this community. Today, we are proud to recognize and celebrate Lynn Eckert's lifetime of contributions, his unwavering commitment to helping others, and his lasting impact on the Oley Valley community. Please join me in honoring him with a warm and heartfelt welcome.
Thank you, Jacob. Good morning, everyone. I'm honored to be here this morning to receive the Distinguished Alumni Award from the Oley School District. Living in Oley School District gives me great pride to be involved with helping others, starting back in my high school days from picking apples for the fair in my senior year and working the cake and cider stand, to assisting coaching my sons through the youth programs down at the Youth League, and then to present activities, working with the Fair Association and the fire company to maintain the grounds across the street here that everybody knows about. I would like to thank the Alumni Association for the special thanks, to my friends and family who supported me all the way, and to the students and teachers today. I encourage you to keep giving back to the community. It's a great way to meet and socialize and get to know interesting people. Thanks again for this honor, and I'll continue to serve my community with the same heart the Oley School District taught me.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert. Introducing the next Alumni Award recipient is Senior Class Vice President Jimmy Chen.
It is a privilege to stand before you this morning as we honor a late alumnus of the Oley Valley High School, whose contributions were so vast and so impactful. I would like to introduce Charles Miller, a graduate of the class of 1950. Charles was devoted to various sectors of public service, actively involved in his church, and served in the National Guard during the Korean War. Whether it was volunteering in many positions at the Stonersville Fire Company, teaching Sunday school at St. Paul's for over 62 years, or serving behind a 337th Anti-Aircraft 90mm rifle, Charles always held a distinguished role in what he did. Now, these accounts only scratch the surface of Charles Miller's many accomplishments, and soon I will pass the stage to Charles's wife, Janet, who will share more about her husband. Passing away on March 20th, 2024, Charles looks down over all of us and lives on through those who remember him and were impacted by him. Before I introduce Janet, I would like to take a second to honor the memory of Charles Miller. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. I would like to introduce Janet Miller, who will be accepting the award today on Charles's behalf and speak more about Charles's many achievements. Janet.
I'm here to represent my husband, Charles Miller. Unfortunately, he's no longer here to accept this recognition, but I know he would be very pleased to be honored in this way. He graduated in 1950, a long time ago. He was always proud to say he graduated from Oley Valley High School and would reminisce about his life here. We just had another big Oley Fair. He was a student at Oley High School when the Oley Fair started. The fair then was held on the property of the old high school adjacent to this building. That building is no longer standing. What he remembered was his student involvement in setting up for the fair. They would help empty the classrooms to make room for the fair. The displays of entries for competition and the vendors' displays were set up inside the school building, and they would help set up things on the property behind the building. And I think is still the case, the seniors would go pick apples to make cider for their cake and cider stand at the fair. Some of his other fond memories of school were running for cross country down behind the school, playing in the band, participating in FFA, and other things. It was one of his teachers, who was a member of the National Guard, who encouraged him to join the National Guard, which led him to serve in the Army during the Korean War. He continued to have contact with his Oley Valley classmates with reunions until his passing. After school, he continued connections to the Oley Valley. We fried hamburgers at the Oley Fair for many years. He enjoyed his active involvement with the American Legion, especially the annual Memorial Day programs with the early morning recognition services at many of the small historical cemeteries in the Oley Valley, and the annual Memorial Day parade down Main Street. He helped the Legion make lunches for the veterans, which we still do, and helping judge essays for the contests sponsored by the Legion for the students of Oley, among other things. He was also very involved in numerous ways in his church his entire life. He went on numerous disaster relief work trips through the church. He was also active in the POS of A, which is the Patriotic Order Sons of America, an old organization that promotes patriotism. In the community, he volunteered in the fire company as a driver and firefighter for many years and was also a volunteer for the Exeter Ambulance. As I said, he was always proud to say he graduated from Oley Valley High School and thankful for all he experienced and learned there. I think I heard the school motto is enter to learn and leave to serve, and this is what he did. Much of his life was about caring, helping, and serving. I want to express my appreciation to the Oley Valley Community Education Foundation for this distinguished alumni recognition and award for him. He would have been very honored to receive it. And I also want to thank his friend Bill Lutz for recommending him for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Our next award recipient will be introduced by our senior class secretary, Ava Walters.
I am very honored and excited to introduce Sophia Gladio today for the Distinguished Alumni Award. Fia graduated from Oley in 2020 and then attended Penn State University, which is a part of the Big Ten Conference, in the summer of 2020 until she graduated in the fall of 2024, where she majored in early childhood education. She played field hockey at Penn State and was very successful both academically and athletically. She holds the record at Oley and Berks County for the most goals scored at 206, and is also Penn State's all-time leading goal scorer with 94 goals and all-time leading point scorer with 202 points. Fia was a 5-time All-American and was named as the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year in both 2022 and 2024. She was also fortunate enough to be named as the Big Ten Player of the Year in 2022. With all of this athletic success, Fia was also a determined student, making the dean's list all of her years of college. While Fia was in college, she volunteered at a homeless shelter during the fall of 2021. She also volunteered to read books to local elementary school students. After college, Fia had the opportunity of a lifetime to be a part of the United States Women's National Field Hockey Team and compete at the 2024 Paris Olympics. The team ended up 9th place overall, and Fia scored her first Olympic goal against Spain. Fia is very devoted to helping athletes manage their mental health. She speaks openly about her journey with anxiety, whether on her social media platforms or with other field hockey teams in Berks County. She recently partnered with Huddle for Hearts to raise money and awareness for sudden cardiac arrest, which is the modern leading cause of death in athletes. Today, she continues to play with the national team in Charlotte, North Carolina, and posts on social media about her field hockey knowledge and her journey getting where she is today. Everyone, please help me in giving a warm welcome to Fia Gladio.
Thank you, Ava, for that wonderful introduction. I'd also like to thank the Oley Valley Community Education Foundation Board of Directors for selecting me for this award. It is such a great honor to represent the Oley community and to be here alongside so many amazing honorees. 5 years ago, I was sitting right where you all are now. It was my senior year, and I was preparing to leave this small farm town to head to the best place on earth, Penn State. At the time, I had no idea what the future would hold, what it would look like, or what I was capable of accomplishing. The unknown was scary. Since graduating, I've been blessed with incredible opportunities. I got to play for and represent one of the top universities in the country, join the U.S. Women's National Team, travel to 7 countries across 3 continents, and meet some very inspiring people, athletes like Steph Curry and Suni Lee. But looking back now, I often reminisce on my time at Oley and realize how much I took those days for granted. Oley gave me memories you simply can't replicate anywhere else. Winning 4 straight county championships, bring your tractor to school day, the Oley Fair, and of course, donkey basketball on a random Wednesday night. I don't think I'll ever forget seeing Mr. Snyder try to shoot a 3-pointer while riding an actual donkey. But more importantly, I will never forget how supported I felt here. Every single teacher I had wanted the best for me, not only during high school, but even as I went on to Penn State, the national team, and the Olympics. That kind of support stays with you for life. So thank you to my teachers. I truly wouldn't be where I am without you all. Coach Tiffany Capilano played a huge role in my journey. She didn't just teach me how to be great on the field. She taught me how to be a humble leader, a driven student, and most importantly, a good person. Her belief in me shaped who I am today, and I will forever be grateful for her as a coach and a teacher. As I went on to college at Penn State, I achieved more than I ever thought possible. I scored goals and broke records. But in June of 2024, I accomplished the most life-changing dream of all. I had been selected to represent the United States in the 2024 Paris Olympics. A few months later, as I stepped on that field and the whistle blew, I officially became an Olympian, a dream I had since the first time I picked up a stick right down the road at the Oley Valley Youth League. And although I achieved that dream halfway across the world in Paris, I will never forget that it was born right here in this tiny town of Oley Valley. If there's one piece of advice I could leave with you today, it's this. No matter where you come from, the size of your dreams don't have to be limited to the size of your hometown. There will always be people who doubt you, who don't want to see you succeed or don't think you can. But don't ever let that hold you back. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who push you, and who want to see you grow. I hope that I can be living proof that if you want something badly enough and you're willing to work for it, you can achieve it, no matter where you come from. So thank you, Oley Valley, for giving me the foundation to dream big and the support to make those dreams possible.
Thank you, Ms. Cletto. I think we might have to bring donkey basketball back because I would like to see Mr. Snyder on a donkey. Right? Our next Alumni Award recipient will be introduced by Ian Snyder, the senior class treasurer.
I have the honor to introduce Richard Dunkelberger for the Distinguished Alumni Award. Richard graduated from Oley in 1981 and enlisted into the Navy. While in the Navy, he spent 4 years on active duty as a jet engine mechanic. Afterwards, Richard joined the Air Force Reserve as crew chief. Then after working with the Air Force, he became an aircraft maintenance technician from 1988 to 2006, during which time he received the Air Force Commendation Medal for successfully transitioning from one aircraft to another. A few years prior, Richard joined the Georgia Air National Guard and served until 2016, rising to the rank as First Sergeant. Beginning in 2006, Richard became an aircraft maintenance control manager for UPS, where he would help build and repair houses for Habitat for Humanities and New Direction Housing over his summers. During this time, he also attended Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and obtained a Bachelor of Science in Professional Aeronautics with a minor in management. He also coached his son Josh in soccer, basketball, and baseball. From 2010 to 2012, Richard went to the Community College of the Air Force and received 2 associate's degrees, one in aviation maintenance technology and one in human resource management. He will go on to receive the Air Force Expeditionary Service Ribbon for deployment to the Southern Command Area of Operations in 2012 and the Air Force Achievement Medal in 2014 for his deployment in Okinawa. In 2016, Richard rejoined the Air Force Reserve as a senior enlisted leader, where he would supervise work on aircrafts. He continued to serve and was deployed 6 times in support of the war on terrorism. He retired in August 2022 as Chief Master Sergeant, the highest enlisted rank available. Richard Dunkelberger retired with a total of 29 years of service, 4 years in the active duty Navy, 18 years with Georgia Air National Guard, and 7 years with the Air Force Reserve. Everyone, please help me thank Mr. Dunkelberger for all that he's done by giving him a great round of applause.
Wow, Ian, thanks for that awesome introduction. I don't know what else I can say. He read my whole resume. So 44 years ago, I walked across this stage and never did I think I'd be back up here again. I'm honored and humbled to receive this award, especially amidst so many deserving recipients. My high school years, I didn't care about college. I took the basics. I was a soccer player, just like Ian, I heard, and a lot of shop and architectural drafting. So the military was my path. Those 29 years, they weren't easy. There was a lot of sacrifice. I missed a lot of birthdays, holidays, and anniversaries. But as Ian said, I was promoted to Chief Master Sergeant in the end, and I was really blessed to have achieved that rank. Those 29 years were in parallel to my civilian career. I did the military and my civilian aviation career parallel, side by side. I started right out here at the Reading Airport working for US Air Express. I then moved to Delta Airlines, and now, as Ian said, I'm working with UPS Airlines as a manager in aircraft maintenance control. Those teams that I coached for my son, they weren't the best teams, but I felt like I instilled some discipline and some teamwork, and later I saw those same kids receive academic awards, so it was really rewarding to see that. Two of the Air Force core values are service before self and excellence in all you do. Part of your mission statement here at Oley Valley is enter to learn and leave to serve. Well, my career took me away from the Oley Valley, but I took those values that I learned from my mom and my dad, my coaches and my teachers, and I served the military, I served in my career, and I served my community. I imagine many of you in this room will soon depart and go on and do great things. Just remember where you came from and remember what you learned between these walls. Finally, I want to thank God for affording me the ability to serve, thank my mom for putting me in for this award, and thank the Oley Valley Education Community Foundation for this award and making this event possible. Go Lynx.
Thank you, Mr. Dunkelberger. Next, I would like to welcome Hannah Haupt, our FFA chapter president, to introduce our next recipient.
It is my honor and privilege to introduce our next distinguished alumni, Mrs. Jessica Aerosmith. Mrs. Aerosmith graduated from Oley Valley High School in 1995. In her senior year, she served as president of the FFA chapter, demonstrating the commitment and passion for agriculture and community service that still defines her today. She was also one of the founders of the Oley Valley FFA Alumni chapter and has served as treasurer ever since. Through the Alumni chapter, she has run several events that give back to the community, students, and our high school. All three of her amazing daughters, Hayden Phillips, Addison Aerosmith, and Elena Aerosmith, have followed in her footsteps as Oley Valley graduates. Professionally, Mrs. Aerosmith is the manager of Eclipse Equines, a horse farm in Gilbertsville. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mrs. Aerosmith.
Thank you, Hannah. Good morning, everyone. First, I want to say thank you to the Oley Valley Community Education Foundation for this incredible honor. When I heard I was receiving a Distinguished Alumni Award, my first thought was, are you sure? And my second thought was, wow, now I'm officially old enough to receive plaques. Standing here today feels like I've come full circle. Growing up in the Oley Valley is a little like living in a postcard, rolling hills, barns, cornfields, and that unmistakable feeling that everyone knows you, and probably what you did last weekend before your parents did. It's a small community, but that's exactly what makes it so unique and special. What I've always loved about Oley isn't just the scenery, it's the people. This kind of place where your teachers don't just teach you, they invest in you. Where traditions like the Oley Fair bring everyone together. Where neighbors show up for each other without being asked. That sense of connection is something rare, and it's something I've carried with me into every part of my life. Now, this award for community service, which makes me laugh a little bit because to me, service has never been about checking off a requirement or earning recognition. It's about noticing a need, rolling up your sleeves, and saying, how can I help? That's something I learned right here in Oley. Along the way, I had mentors who gave me advice that stuck. I still remember then Superintendent Mr. Lesko in a conversation in the hallway out there telling me, after having a conversation with a teacher who didn't want the schedule to work for me, he said to me, never let someone tell you no. Mr. Zachin was principal at the time, and he was standing by his side, and he looked at me with a grin and said, but please use your powers for good and not evil. That mix of ambition and humor, that's Oley. We're taught to dream big, to push forward, but also to keep our feet on the ground and our hearts in the right place. So to the students sitting here this morning, You don't have to wait till you're older or until you have a big job title to make a difference. Community service isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. Start small, help a classmate, volunteer your time, share your talents. Those little moments matter more than you think. And one day you'll look back and realize you've been making an impact all along. So thank you again for this honor. I'm proud to be from the Oley Valley, a place that's given me far more than I could ever give back. If you ever doubt how special this community is, just try explaining to someone who's not from here how to pronounce Schuylkill, and you'll come running back home real fast. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Arrowsmith. And introducing our last recipient of the morning is Megan Schaefer, FFA Vice President.
She was an officer of the class of 1988, a member of student council, cheer captain her senior year, and an All-American cheerleader who represented Pennsylvania in the Aloha Bowl in Hawaii. Throughout high school, Heather was a part of a work-study program where she spent her morning in class here at OVHS, then traveled to New York City each day for auditions and bookings. During her senior year, she graduated early and moved to New York City to pursue her show business dreams. She holds a BA in Literary Studies from the University of Texas and an MFA in Creative Writing from Pine Manor College. Today, she resides in New York and spends her time writing novels such as What the Valley Knows and The Lying Season, as well as books and nonfiction essays. Her most recent project is titled Love Notes, which is where people submit their love stories, which are then performed off-Broadway, as well as different cities throughout the United States. Outside of her work, she teaches at the City University of New York and is the CEO of Sock Rock NYC, which conducts soccer camps for small children in the New York City area. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce to you Ms. Heather Christie.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you to the Oley Valley Community Education Foundation for this award. Calvin Coolidge was our 30th President of the United States, and he said, "Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence and determination." His slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. And that phrase, "press on," has served me well. As an Oley Valley High School student, like Megan said, I wanted to be a famous actress. And I was on this exhausting work-study program in which I'd take 3 classes here in the morning, and then my mom would pick me up, and we would zoom through the valley to Kutztown so I could jump on the Beaver bus and get to New York City each afternoon. And I would go on go-sees and auditions, and then I would get back on the bus and come home, and each evening I'd then have to be homeschooled in chemistry by my father, who was a doctor, and math by my mom, who was a math teacher, and I'd listen to my history teacher, Mr. Ewing's lessons on an old school Walkman, and then I would come in and Mr. Zachin would administer my test in the principal's office. And I did this day after day after day, and I went on audition after audition after audition, and I got rejection after rejection after rejection. And I was at the point where I just wanted to quit and come home, when a little voice whispered, "Press on." And so I did. And the next week, I booked a magazine cover, and then I was got a part on a soap opera called Another World, and then All My Children, and from there, things took off. But little did I know how much persistence and determination I was gonna need, not only in the arts, but also in life. See, I married when I was 19 years old, and I followed my husband's professional soccer career. Now, we had 2 wonderful kids, and I ended up having a really successful real estate career. But I ended up giving up all of my dreams and what I had wanted. 20 years later, when that marriage began to dissolve at midlife, when normal people are starting to plan about what they might do in retirement, I chose again to press on. And I returned to graduate school, and I got my MFA in creative writing. And there, I wrote my first novel, What the Valley Knows. It's a book based on a fictional town called Millington Valley. But I think you guys would recognize this valley as home. Well, I was sure that I was going to graduate from graduate school and get a big book deal right away. And I sent my manuscript out to agent after agent and publisher after publisher. And again, I got rejection after rejection. At one really low point, I started to believe, you know what? I should just quit. Just put this book in a drawer. But again, there was that little voice that said, press on. And so I did. And 520 days later, I finally got the call that said, your book's been sold. And What the Valley Knows went on to win the National Indie Excellence Award for Young Adult Fiction. And it was soon followed by another book set here in the Valley called The Lying Season. Well, my 30-year marriage had ended in divorce, and my children went off to college. I found my way back to New York City, and I became the CEO of my brother's company, Sock Rock Soccer for Kids. Still, I was really, really lonely. And I believed all I had to do, though, was if I signed up for Bumble, my Prince Charming would miraculously appear. And so I did. I went on one date after another. Well, it turned out I was a complete failure at love. But still, that universe, it whispered to me, press on. Go on out there and look for proof of love. And so I did. I asked other authors and poets and actors and just regular people to share their stories about true love. And voila, my second project was born, the one I'm working on right now. It's called Love Notes, Real Stories by Real People About Real Love. And it's now an off-Broadway show in its third season. It's being franchised across the United States. In fact, we have our own Love Notes coming here next Saturday to the Miller Center. And that whole project turned into another book called Love Notes, which went on and won its own award. And we have a second book coming out in June. And best of all, I did meet my Prince Charming, and his name is Mark. So my advice when things get a little tough and you feel like quitting, well, listen to that little voice inside of you. Block out the naysayers. Keep going, hop over those stumbling blocks. Take a sledgehammer to the brick walls that get in your way. And maybe don't get married at 19. See if a small town girl from the valley can make her dreams come true. You can too. So I wish you perseverance, persistence, and determination in the pursuit of your goals. May you be firm, resolute, whether you're heading off to college next year, starting your first business, maybe you're writing a book or just figuring out what life's going to look like. My message is press on. Sometimes that's going to be all you have. Those two mighty little words. Press on. Thank you.
Thank you, and let's give one more round of applause to all of our recipients this morning. And I would now just like turn it over to Mr. Tom Kaufman for some closing remarks from the OVCEF.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. I hope everybody enjoyed as much as I did listening and recognizing our distinguished alumni award winners this morning. It's always a great event that I look forward to each year as we get to recognize those who have gone on in their careers and accomplished many great things, whether they've stayed in the Valley or have gone on to other areas and excelled in their areas of work or careers, et cetera. So again, I want to thank them for coming out today, and I also want to thank the students for their time and getting to know them ahead of time and introducing them this morning. And certainly I want to thank Kevin Bieber and his committee for probably all the hard work that goes into trying to decide who should be the award recipients, because every year we get a lot of applications and it's always a very challenging decision. So again, once again, on behalf of the Oley Valley Community Education Foundation, I want to congratulate all of our award winners this morning, and I'll turn it back over to Mr. Harrison to get you back on your day.
Well, again, thank you to all of our recipients for coming back this morning. It is great to see such distinguished alumni and to show different perspectives to our current students. Wouldn't you know it, we are right on time to get back to fourth period. So, students, you may head back to class. Thank you to everybody else who attended.